Hey there, and welcome back. So if you know anything about WordPress in its present state, you've probably heard about full site editing. And you probably heard that part of full site editing, or FSC, will be rolled into WordPress core when WordPress 5.8 is released on July 20th. So today I wanted to go over what full site editing is, how you'll be able to use it from the front end standpoint once it's fully rolled into WordPress core, likely in late 2021, and discuss whether it's a good idea for your website to use. I do want to note that I'll be looking through FSC through the eyes of just a plain user of WordPress, not a developer's. If you're looking for a developer's perspective on full site editing, I'll probably do a deeper dive into that part on my personal channel at a later date. Now, before you get started, if you want to see more videos about WordPress, e-commerce, digital marketing, and other website related topics, be sure to hit the subscribe button and to ring the bell for notifications. Now, let's get started. So what exactly is full site editing anyways? Well, full site editing, or FSC as I'll call it often, is basically the endpoint for the entire Gutenberg project. It will allow you to edit every part of your website, the header, the different queries on different page templates, the footer, all of that without writing any lines of code. And you'll be able to do that by using various blocks. It's really the final step in making WordPress more like the website builders that you've seen like Squarespace and the like. As you'll see when we get to the demo portion, you'll be able to easily change what the header of your website looks like, or you can change what's in your footer, or you can create cool new templates. You'll have control over how everything looks on your website. Just remember that with great power comes great responsibility. Good news, full site editing won't ruin your website, or at least not right away. Your current PHP theme that you're using right now should work even when full site editing is rolled into WordPress core. Or at least it should. It depends on whether the theme was actually built correctly or not. But you will have to actively do something with full site editing to break your theme or your website. You would have to create a new template through the block editor and then use it on a poster page in order to make things look weird or awkward. So when the team announces that FSC is going to be fully into WordPress core, don't worry, your website's not going to break. Everything is going to be just fine. Not quite. Or if you're watching this right after this video was released. WordPress 5.8 sort of brings FSC in the core. You can create template parts like headers and such, and custom templates in FSC that will allow you to make customizations on the fly. But the true full site editing experience won't be available until at least WordPress 5.9, which will likely come out in November or December 2021. Now you can test drive FSC by using the Gutenberg plugin, as that's where active development and testing is taking place, but I would only use that in a testing environment. Of course, if you're watching this after WordPress has released a version that has full site editing truly into core, then well, it's available right now. So how will FSC themes differ from traditional PHP themes? Well, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm going to shy away from the technical discussion right now in order to look at it from a user's perspective. So as you, the end user, will see it, FSC themes will essentially just add in custom styles that you can use. They'll add in a default background color, set the color for links and buttons, and so on and so forth. Some of them will likely come with default layouts that you can use right out of the box, but in the end, all of it will be customizable. That might mean that your web pages are lighter and load quicker. It also puts people into the position of being web designers, which can be a pretty scary experience if you don't know what you're doing. There are a lot of positives and negatives when it comes to using an FSC theme. In the site editor, I'm running Gutenberg 11, I believe, and I also have the WordPress 5.8 release candidate 1 version running on this website. So some things might look a little bit different depending on when you're watching this video. I'm also running the 2021 block theme that's experimental at the time of this recording. So one of the first things you'll notice is that it looks a lot like the block editor that you know already. And one of the cool things is you can come in here and you can set your default global styles. You can set your fonts, your colors for text, background, all that from right here, and that changes throughout the entire site basically. So that's really cool. Right here we're looking at a page home template, since that's what my main website runs. So that's like the default view that loads. And you notice here we have a header, we have sort of this post content area, and then we have a footer, and we can change all these for all the different page layouts we have. And then up here, normally in the block editor, you would think this takes you to like the post or pages page, but actually it adds in this navigation, which is a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but whatever at this point. And so let's check out the index template. Okay, so here we are with the index template, and it looks a lot like the template that we just looked at, except that we actually have post in here. And the main thing here is that it's loading this query loop block, which loops through a query just like a normal PHP template theme would do. And you can change, whether it has post title, post content, post metadata, or whatever. You can have a lot of fun with these. And obviously making a change here would make it change, places where you're loading categories and archives and whatnot. And maybe the home page if you don't have a front page or home page dedicated. Now we're going to get to the really fun part, and that is creating template parts, like a different footer or a different header and all of that fun business. So let's go and do that. So to create a new template part, we go to Appearance and Template Parts. As you see, I was testing around with it and I've created a template part already, but we're going to add in a new template part. We're going to give it a title, and I'm just going to add in a simple site logo. All right, and then we're going to publish, and it's been published. So now we need to go back into a template and edit the footer. Okay, so we're back in the home page template, and now we're going to change out the footer. So we select the footer, we actually will remove the footer, and then we're going to add in template part, choose existing, and here's our alt footer. And then we come into your advanced, and we can specify that's footer, like so. And then you can go in here and center. Save. And if we were to go look into the front end, we would see this different footer out there. So that's all there really is kind of to full site editing. I do highly encourage you to go out and create like a dev environment or a sandbox environment where you can play around with full site editing, but also not break your live site. So I really think it's going to take a lot of, testing it out, experimenting with it, breaking things, trying new things for you to really understand what you can do with this new site editor. So now, what is the future of FSC in WordPress? Well, for one, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes from here. I think that once people get the hang of it, you're going to see some really, really cool websites. And hopefully those folks will spin those sites into tutorials to help other people learn how to create really cool FSC websites. Now, there will also be people who completely ruin their websites trying to play web designer with FSC. The ones that think that they know web design when truly they don't. But that's always been a thing with WordPress, as anyone who runs a WordPress website with multiple editors or authors will tell you. Trust me. But if you're smart and you take things slow and you watch tutorials, you're going to be just fine. There will have to be an adjustment to how things are done right now. Theme developers will have to figure out where their place in the ecosystem is now. And the market for new and cool blocks and block patterns is really going to open up. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how all of it plays out. Plus, traditional PHP themes aren't going anywhere anytime soon anyways. They've been the bread and butter of WordPress since, WordPress became a thing. They're not going anywhere overnight. If you feel better off using just one of those PHP themes over an FSC theme, then go for it. There are too many people and too many big websites that rely on those traditional PHP themes for it to be deprecated basically overnight. So now here's the million-dollar question. Should you use FSC when it's rolled into WordPress core? My answer, to be honest, is not quite yet. First off, the number of themes that support FSC right now is very small. The theme you're using right now for your website probably won't have support for it right when it's rolled into core. Now, that's not to say that it's completely useless or pointless or this has all been a waste. I think that within a year of it being in WordPress core, you're going to see some really cool FSC themes, some really cool blocks and block patterns, and ultimately some really cool websites that you'll be able to create, and your neighbor will be able to create, and your friend will be able to create. And that's a pretty exciting feature if you ask me. Also, when it's released, it won't be 100% done. Honestly, nothing is. There will still be iterations of fixing things, maybe adding a few small features here and there, and improving the overall user experience, which is a positive for iterative development. So to be honest, I would wait a couple WordPress major release cycles before using FSE, but I also would be lying if I said I wasn't excited for it. So what do you think about full site editing? What excites you the most about it? Or what are you most concerned about? Be sure to leave your comments down in the comment section below. Next week we'll be discussing some ways that you can make sure that your WordPress website is as secure as possible. To see that video and more videos on WordPress, e-commerce, digital marketing, and other website related topics, be sure to hit the subscribe button and to ring the bell for notifications. But until next time, happy WordPressing.